gentlemen, welcome back to another video. It's been a very long time since I've last uploaded on this channel, but today everything is gonna change. Not because this is going to be another calisthenics ramble, but it is going to be related to self-improvement and mental masturbation. So from now on, we're just going to be posting videos. It can be about calisthenics, it can be about some existential crisis I've been having lately, or it can be about like some great life-changing advice that I might give to you today, just as I'm going to be doing today. Fuck, I messed up the phrasing, but whatever. Let's get into the main point I want to talk about today. So recently, I've been watching a lot of Hormozy stuff, and he talks about how lack of communication is the main problem for all of the ruts. Everything that happens that is negative, that impacts your life, is due to lack of communication. And that couldn't be not further from the truth, but closer to the truth. The reason why you're failing, the reason why, some online business you're starting is not succeeding, how it's been happening with me personally, and that's why I'm making this video, is because you lack communication. So let's say that tomorrow you have the goal of where am I going with this? All right, so let's say tomorrow you have the goal of running 5 miles. Let's say you wake up and the first thing you do is run 5 miles. What happens? Tomorrow comes and you slack off. You say, oh, today is I'm not feeling good. Oh, my feet hurt and I don't want to go running 5 miles. Like whatever excuse you have, you didn't go because of it. And then the day after comes and you say, well, I set myself out to do this goal and I didn't accomplish it because I had demons in my mind. How it most of the times happens, how it personally happens with me. A lot of the time I tend to blame my lack of success on things just because of my dark childhood, or the demons I have in my mind that I'm possessed and I cannot act according to how a better version of me would. So I would most of the times just put the blame on, I can't believe I've fallen into this rut. Like it must be the change of environment I'm in. It must be, it must be his fault because he triggered me to, just do whatever bad habit you've probably done. And I'm sure you can relate to this. I'm probably not articulating this in the best way, but most of the times we tend to use language, like gibberish, ambiguous language, to justify our failures. So, well, I didn't wake up yesterday and ran 5 miles because, I was fighting my demons who were, just throwing me at all of these excuses, and then I just gave in to them. And that is where the failure lies in. You use language that you don't understand, that probably others don't understand, to explain what has happened to you. You might say, oh, well, I didn't run the 5 miles because I'm lazy. And okay, but have you asked yourself, what does lazy actually mean? Well, you will probably run into some trouble trying to define it. Like maybe you would say something like, a person who does not do hard work. Okay, define hard work. And then you just go on and on and on and on, like forever, trying to define the words you use. And then you just end up realizing that you're using these words and you don't even understand them. And yet you let them define your daily outcomes, so your life on a daily basis. And using all of these gibberish terms isn't really helping you at all if you just consciously think about it for 1 second. Like, how is putting up these words helping me in this case? Well, it's not. Like you just failed, and then you go on to tell people or even telling yourself that, oh bro, it was some demons that possessed me, and I've slacked off because um, insert XYZ reason why you slacked off and why you didn't act according to the person who you're trying to become. And that's essentially where um, most failure in self improvement lies. And fuck, hold on. Holy fuck. Yo, my hand is like all messed up. Like, I'm putting a lot of water because, hot water because, I have to heal this stuff. It's fucking hurting and it's not. And my hand's already like all, I don't know if you can see the rugs. It's so messed up. But continuing. So I've already told you how your brain likes to use these gibberish and ambiguous terms to describe you for doing bad things. So let's try to reverse engineer things from there. Let's say you call that the reason why you didn't go run those 5 miles was because you had demons in your mind. They possessed you. Well, let's define the demons that possess you. Well, you might say, oh, I started making these excuses. I started feeling like I didn't want to go. And at some point, my mind convinced me that it was either too risky or to go running, or I shouldn't do it. So now we went from I had demons in my mind to my mind convinced me to not go run these 5 miles. So let's ask again, well, define my mind didn't convince me to not run these 5 miles. Well, you might say, well, it started making excuses about X, Y, Z, and now, well, we went from I had demons to now my mind convinced me to now I had these excuses. Do you notice the big, difference between just these two evolutions? We went from having demons in our mind, some crazy malevolent external force that's impeding us from just running the 5 miles, to now having excuses. Well, I'm pretty sure that now you can tackle much more efficiently fighting excuses rather than fighting demons, because now instead of just fighting this external evil force that's magically stopping you from achieving your goals, now you're working with excuses that your mind produces, and you can very efficiently, you can very likely just overcome this barrier simply by even asking yourself even further why you have those excuses in the first place. And just by determining those excuses, just by determining the definition, which I'm probably not going to be able to define very clearly, but I'm going to say it in my own words. Let's say I ask you to define excuses. Well, maybe an excuse is essentially just a set of reasons that you tell someone why you weren't able to do something, just to seek their validation. Maybe that isn't the best way to put it, but let's say it is in fact that. So reasons that you tell someone that he didn't do something simply to seek their validation. So now you're not dealing with demons, you're not dealing with my mind controlled me, it's evil as well. Now you're not dealing with excuses. Now you're dealing with an issue of coming up with reasons to justify not having done what we were supposed to do, because we want to be in the comfort of feeling validated by ourselves. Like, oh, well, I didn't run those 5 miles because X, Y, Z, and that immediately makes you comfortable. Now you can work your way from there. You can journal and you can say, next time I'm facing excuses, or next time, say, you're facing demons, you reveal the true nature of the problem you're dealing with. Now you're not dealing with stuff you don't know how to fight. You're dealing with much simpler problems that you can solve step by step. You can't say, now that I know I'm not going to run 5 miles, not because of demons, but now because of reasons that I tried to create just to simply feel validated by my own self. Now you can deal with it much more efficiently. Next time the issue comes, you know what it is, and you can take an actual step to improve it. So the best thing I can do now is just shut it off and just grab my shoes and start running. It's not really much of a big problem when you journal and you self-reflect on it, when you try to get to the true nature of the problem. Like it's not something big you're dealing with. And if you apply this to every other aspect in your life, well, you're probably going to improve exponentially. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm not hoping. That is what I'm expecting to happen in my life now. Because now I'm going to start applying the system, and I'm just essentially going to achieve things faster, be it in business, be it in physical aspects, be it in relationships. Say one of the biggest mental blocks I have is when it comes to approaching women I find attractive. So I start, I see someone like interesting that I would probably see myself in a great relationship with, and then I start having like all of these thoughts, like I start overthinking a lot, and then I don't actually decide to do anything about it. I just, sit there, do nothing. And then the next day, I start regretting it. I start saying, man, I had all of these demons impeding me from going to talk to that girl. And I just start making up all of these, stories about how a malevolent forces is, just haunting my life and not allowing me to, find like a real partner. And that's what's been stopping me for like many, many months into my self improvement journey. And guess what? As soon as I was able to detect that, as soon as I simplified the problem, it wasn't I have all of these demons in my mind into overthinking about the possibility of failure, into so now defining overthinking, it's just thoughts, like a bunch of thoughts, um trying to predict possible outcomes that have not yet happened. And then as soon as I realized that, it just gave me the idea of like, well, if you're overthinking about it like all the time, well, what problem does it solve? Like, how does all of these thoughts about possible events actually impede me from going to talk to that girl? I just went, talked to the girl, we had a nice conversation. They were from another city, so I was like probably horrible doing it. Define horrible, good one. So she was from another city. I like essentially just, since I'm looking for a long-term relationship, I didn't really, just try to do much. But, it was chill. Like all of these demons that were stopping me from talking to a girl, now became an irrelevant problem that I've overcome. And then, I did something I've never done, which is a cold approach a woman and, try to find a relationship. Like it's that simple. I didn't really even struggle with overthinking afterwards. It was just simply like natural to me now. And I feel like this is what is going to happen. This is what is going to happen in every single other life aspect. Like instead of just you being constantly dwelling about fighting demons and having these mystical forces impeding you from becoming a better person, now you have like very simple problems that you can overcome, and life now feels natural to you. So, that's something I wanted to share. Maybe you will feel like a lot more peaceful now if you apply it, if you journal about whatever has been stopping you from doing what you want, if you go to the root reason, to like go deep into the terms your mind is using, and just to justify whatever bad thing happens to you in life, and you will probably see yourself just improving tremendously. And I'm expecting that to happen to me in every single aspect, especially financially, because now, instead of dealing with demons that stop me from doing the work, I can just know like that I'm probably having like some sort of resistance, and I'll probably have to break down even further. So now instead of fighting demons, I'm dealing with a very simple problem that I can overcome. And that is essentially how I think my life is going to change, and hopefully yours too. I don't know, we'll see. In a few months, if you see me fairly well successful, or doing well in my YouTube channel, just know it was because of this. So hope this helps, and have a nice one, Mr. Gentleman. Gentleman. I wanted to also mention that I got jacked. More jacked. So, more protein. So, maybe I'll talk more about calisthenics in the future. But for now, self-improvement. And my hands all fucked up. Hold on. Zoom in. Yeah, I look like an old man, but I've been putting hot water. Let's see if this heals. Goodbye.